Welcome to the Positive Sports Podcast. I'll be your host this afternoon, Ed Montana. Alongside me today, virtually, is my brother Alex. Alex, how you doing?
Oh man, it's Monday, but I'm doing a lot better than I was Sunday. So, I'm cured now.
Yeah, I heard Sunday specifically in the morning was a little bit rough.
Yeah, a lot of bit rough.
Hey,
We
man,
had it was my niece's
you
sweet
ain't,
15.
you ain't as young as you used to be, brother.
I know, man, and yeah, I found that out yesterday morning. It was my niece's sweet 15.
Right,
In the Hispanic cultures, they celebrate at 15 years old, right?
right.
Not sweet 16, but it was a very fun party, uh, an open bar,
Whew.
which that just they had this. I know you don't like fruity drinks. This is not really a fruity drink. And I thought about you every time I drank it, and I lost count, so I don't even remember. But I think you would like this drink because it's sweet. I mean, you're a sweets guy. It's
Yeah.
a salted caramel Crown Royal.
Ooh, I
Yeah,
like
I
me some
mean,
Crown Royal.
and I know you like caramel.
Yes,
And
by the spoon.
after 3 or 4 shots, you think you're drinking water, and yeah, you're just pounding them bags. So it was it
So,
was a very interesting night.
so here's my question: did we have any ejections?
No ejections.
Thank goodness.
No, none. Uh, you know, it got to a point where things blacked out a little
Right,
bit,
right.
but thank God that my wife takes good care of me.
So long as the drinks only flow in one direction,
Right.
that's not that bad. It's when they flow
Yeah.
in both directions or out of three directions, that's when it's a little too much.
Yeah, no, we didn't have any of those. At least I didn't have any of those issues. So everything stayed in.
Reversal of fortune, as they call it at the hot dog eating contest. Well, hey, in spite of all of my laughter, I am really I think I've gotten a little bit over myself, but I'm in a, I'm not in a bad mood anymore. But I mean, I was livid this morning. I have never shed tears from anger, but I almost did this morning. I was so freaking mad that my head was about to explode. Like I could feel my ears getting hot, my blood pressure was up. I was irate. So for years we've been doing this podcast, and ever
Yeah.
since this is the Houston Marathon shirt that we got after Hurricane Harvey, right? Hurricane Harvey came through in August, and then in January they had the marathon, and it was these Run Houston Strong shirts. And so you've seen me periodically wear this. I still wear it. The Houston Marathon is very near and dear to me. I've run 25 in a row, and obviously the way we came together after Hurricane Harvey to me has always meant a lot. It's always meant a lot to me in terms of why I love this city and why I love this town. So what made me irate this morning was I read a press release came out this morning that they canceled the Houston Marathon. Now, it wasn't a shock to me. I've been saying for a couple of months now that I was saying I would not be surprised if Houston got canceled, because that's just the way it is. It's hard. The Houston Marathon is a pretty big marathon. It usually has 27,000 participants between the marathon and the half marathon. And so it's a big event. And if you've ever been to a marathon, I mean, you pack 27,000 people just about as close as you can before a start line, before the gun goes off and people start running. So it is very not social distancing friendly, right?
Right.
However, that did not change my level of iratedness. I mean, I was steaming mad this morning. I was so mad. I wanted to walk around and just lick somebody. Just fuck it. Give me COVID, right? Like, give me fucking shoot me with some COVID right in the vein right here. Let's fucking get it in there. Get me sick. Get me done. And then, I can go on the other side and fucking live my life normal because I'm sick and tired of this fucking COVID life we live now. And I was livid. And I'm still pretty hot. I'm still running pretty hot. I can tell. But at the end of the day, right, it is what it is. This is what we choose to live. And I'm telling you right now, and I'm telling all the friends of the Positive Sports Podcast right now, on January 19th or whatever that fucking day is that we were supposed to run the race, January 12th or whatever it is, I am going to downtown Houston at 5 a.m. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to go down there. I'm going to stretch. I'm going to get my last bit of fueling in and all that other shit. And at 7 o'clock in the morning, I am going to start the Houston Marathon just like I have for the last 25 years. And I'm going to run the course as best I can. It's obviously not going to be the same because, they close off streets, and I'm not going to run in traffic or against traffic. Oh, well, maybe I will. I don't know. But
I'll make it dangerous.
That's right. I'm going to do the best I can to run the course, and I am going to run 26.2 miles because COVID can go suck a fat one. I am not going to let this shit stop me from truly one of the most special events to me in my life. I've done it every year for more than half of my life, and I'm not going to stop now. F them, F COVID. I'm still running on January, whatever. I'll give you the details when I get there. If you want to come on out and boo me or cheer me on or throw some COVID at me or whatever, I don't give a shit. But that's what I'm doing. That's how my morning's been.
Well, that's a good way to turn a negative into a positive.
That's what we do here.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say you might not be the only one that does that.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of people that will try to run the course. Maybe not that day, maybe the day before, maybe the weekend before. Like, it'll be spread out. But I would dare to say there's going to be quite a few people that are going to do the same thing. And quite frankly, I don't care. I don't care if there's no one there. I don't care if everyone's there. I don't give a shit. In fact, if all 27,000 people showed up, I'd be like, fine, I don't give a shit. I am running this race. This is what I do.
Now, are you going to run mask on or mask off?
Either way. I don't know if we've talked about this, but I have been training in a mask. I don't do it all the time. And sometimes when I go for a run, I pull it down and pull it back up. Like, sometimes I give myself a little 2-minute break and then pull it back on. But I've been running with a mask because here's the thing. It's annoying, right, when you go to the grocery store or, if you're not used to it, it's annoying, right? Like, if you go to the grocery store and you spend 45 minutes in there shopping and you have to have it on the whole time, it gets annoying. So I made the decision a while back, the only way I'm going to get used to this fucking thing, wear it all the time. And what more difficult time to wear it than when you're trying to run in this fucking heat, right? So I've been wearing it. I've been wearing it on my training runs. Okay. Again, not 100% of the time. I'd say roughly 50% of the time. And so if there's a shit ton of people there, I may wear one. I don't know. But honestly, I don't care. In fact, if the mayor came back and said, okay, we'll do the marathon, but you have to wear a mask for the whole thing, I'd be like, okay. Right? Yeah. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, man. I'm a runner. I'm in the pain business, bro. I am in the pain and suffering business. I ain't afraid of wearing no fucking mask for 4 hours.
I wonder if the commission, right, will change that decision as it gets
no,
maybe not, right, because as it gets closer, less time to prepare, right? But
the reason they made the announcement now is because they can't see a clear path to being able to put it on, and it's such a big event. Like I said, 27,000 people, and actually they've got a 5K the day before. The expo's a big deal at the George R. Brown, the big convention center here in Houston. It's just too much. and they couldn't take the chance of investing all of the money and time into it and then having it cancel in January, which is why we're getting notification of it, 3.5 months before race day.
Right.
But I will be at the Houston Marathon. Count me in. Look, the little sign above me, the Houston Marathon. I will be there on race day. I don't remember what day it is exactly, but I don't give a fuck.
Well, you better start training.
Oh, I've been training, bro. I've been training. I've been dealing with this heat. I've been wearing a mask in the heat. I'm ready. I'm ready.
Right.
So
Ready, Eddie.
So, I'm deep into the training, trying to get to the big day in January. Now, someone who is almost to the big day are the Lakers and the Heat. The series is 2-1. We're just a few games away. We're about a week away at most from someone being crowned the NBA champion of this crazy 2020 season. Last night, Jimmy Butler put on a show, scoring 40 points or 43 points, whatever it was. And the Heat beat the Lakers by 11 to make it a 2-1 series. Now, the Heat have some injuries. They have a couple guys that they couldn't play last night. It was nice to see them win a game. But realistically, do you think they have a chance, Alex?
Man, I mean, yeah, they have a chance, but I don't know how. Look, we've heard the Lakers, probably specifically LeBron, put a call into the NBA office during the Denver Nuggets series regarding fouls, right? And the game after that, the Lakers got, went to the line quite a bit. So it seemed like last night the Lakers weren't getting some calls.
The NBA forgot to call the refs.
Yeah. Well, look, LeBron, I'm sure, stayed up late, writing an email, getting his plead ready to have the NBA do something about these fouls and for Game 4. So I don't know, man. I hope Bam and Dragic, come back. At least Bam.
I think Bam will. I think Dragic is done for the series, if I had to guess.
Yeah. But man, I don't know. I don't know. I'm glad the Heat won the game. But I don't know. I think at the end, I think LeBron and Anthony Davis will just be too much. I mean, the first two games, they look like matchup problems.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I will say this. I was happy that the Heat won a game. I felt like it would have been, I don't want to say unfair. That sounds, I almost feel like it would have been unfair that if they didn't win a game. They've been so good since they came back to the bubble. They've obviously played very well in the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. I didn't think they were going to win this series, but I didn't think they deserved to be swept either. And so I'm glad they won one game. What did you think about your buddy LeBron walking off the court with five seconds left or whatever it was in the game?
Yeah, well, it was more like 10 seconds left.
Was it that much?
Look, they didn't have a chance, right?
Right.
I mean, they weren't going to win, right? They were down 11 points or whatever it was. But, I mean, they could have fucking charged them for like a delay of game. You know what I'm saying? Because he walked off, and then the guys on the bench had to take off their warm-up suits to get in the game so they can finish off the last few seconds and, just fucking stay in the game. So LeBron can dish it, but he can't take it, right? So supposedly Jimmy Butler said, LeBron told him during the first quarter they're in trouble. And then Jimmy Butler returned the favor and said the same thing after a drive to the basket in the fourth quarter that put the Heat up by 7 or 9. And he replied back to LeBron with the same thing, right? You're in trouble. They're in trouble. And, in sports, you got to know how to win and how to lose. Like, you can't be a sore loser. I don't think anybody likes that, you know, and it just comes off
Yeah.
the wrong way. And you know, if you've been listening to podcasts, and Ed, you know me with LeBron, I dislike the guy. A hell of a fucking basketball player, Hall of Famer, top 5, whatever you want to put him all time. But as a person, even though I don't know him personally, the things that he says and his actions sometimes are just, they're fucking annoying.
Yeah.
They're annoying.
You know, and this is why I think this is why LeBron's not universally loved, because he does shit like this. It's just like it's just a dick move for the sake of being a dick. Like you're not accomplishing. Like, what does he think he's accomplishing by doing that? You know, now obviously in the moment he's not thinking about what am I trying to accomplish here, but it's like he never stops to think, you know, how it reflects on him, how it reflects on his team, the league, his teammates. You're right. Guys had to come off and take off, you know, warm-ups to go out on the court for the last second of the game because the shot clock had expired and it was a turnover. It's like, just don't be an ass. You know, like, why? Because you're upset because you lost? Hey, LeBron, you've been in the league for 17 years. You've lost basketball games before. In fact, you've lost games in the finals before. In fact, you've lost entire series in the finals before. Bro, this isn't the worst thing that's ever happened to you, right? Like, just be a man, stand there until the final buzzer, and, you know, call it done. Look, when the pass was inbounded in, they inbounded it to Caruso, and Caruso underhanded punched it up in the air, right? That's kind of a dick thing to do, but that's not that bad, right? Like, that's a little frustration. It doesn't hurt anybody. It doesn't really disrespect anybody. I mean, maybe Mr. Spalding doesn't like the way you treated his ball, but other than that, it's just not that big a deal, right?
Yeah.
Stay on the court and do that. Stay on the court and do that. But don't walk off and leave your teammates hanging, right? Because it just feels like, well, I'm upset, so I'm going to leave. Look, everybody's upset. 1 through 12 is upset. The coaches are upset. Your fan base is upset. Everybody's upset. It's okay, you know? And it's like, act like a 17-year veteran and don't act like a 5-year-old. That's my problem with
it. If I was a member of the Heat team, I would have, because I think Jimmy Butler took the inbound pass. I would have went and stole the ball from him and shot it just so we wouldn't have a turnover. Now would that have been a dick move?
By Jimmy Butler? Yeah, a little
By
bit.
anybody on the Heat?
Yeah, a little bit. You know what the trash talk needs to be in Game 4, right? Like, as soon as the Heat go up 3, yo, LeBron, you may as well just leave now, bro. It's over for you, man. Just go ahead and leave, man. Just go ahead and leave. You ain't gonna win nothing here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I'll be rooting for the Heat. I don't know if I'm rooting for the Heat or I'm rooting against LeBron. I'm probably rooting more for against LeBron, but I mean, you know, the Heat. I mean, fucking Jimmy Butler put up 40 points, didn't attempt not one 3-pointer.
Jimmy Butler is playing his ass off.
He really is. Triple double.
It just he is laying it all out on the line. And you know what? I really like the attitude of that Heat team. And it made me think that they were going to win one game at some point, even if Bam and Dragic didn't come back. Because you heard all the comments after Game 2, and it was like, we have to win. It wasn't, oh, you know, we got some injuries and we're going to do the best we can. It was, we have to win. It wasn't, you know, it was very Michael Jordan-like. He was in the moment. He didn't care about, you know, he didn't care about all the external factors affecting the moment. He only cared about the moment. He only cared about the game. He only cared about Game 3. And if all he had was these guys to go to war with, then he didn't worry about not having Dragic. He didn't worry about not having Bam. He just worried about the game. And Spoelstra said the same thing. And look what happened. You know, they played a good basketball game. They were up throughout the game. I think at some point the Lakers were up, but it wasn't very much. And so
it wasn't for long either.
Yeah, it wasn't for very long. So hats off to the Heat. And, you know, really, Jimmy Butler is, he's making himself into a fan favorite the way he's
Yeah, he really
behaved and
is.
the way he's played in this series and this playoff run and the whole bubble thing. It's fantastic. I love it.
I
But I still think
I
the
think
Lakers are going to win.
yeah.
It's
Well,
too much.
we went from the Heat. I went from the Heat are gonna win 4-1 last week to
Yeah.
now I don't even know if they're gonna win. But uh, yeah, I mean, I think having Spoelstra as a coach really is huge for that team, man.
Spoelstra's really, he's becoming a bigger star every day that this series goes by.
Yeah.
Moving on, we made it through the wild card round of the playoffs. And look, you may not like it. You may not like it, Alex. But Carlos Correa's here. They're here. They're here.
They're here.
They took out the vaunted Minnesota Twins. A team that has not won a playoff game since 2004. So just step back, man. They're here. Carlos, I don't care. You beat the Twins.
Yeah, well, they beat a good team. They beat a good team. They won the Central.
A good team that hasn't won a playoff game, not a playoff series, a playoff game in 16 years. They've lost 18 straight playoff games. Like, if they make it to the playoffs, you're guaranteed a sweep.
That's insane. 18
Isn't that
straight
crazy?
playoff games.
Huh?
That's 18 straight?
18 straight playoff games.
Wow.
It's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. And
I'll tell you what. The Astros are cheaters, okay? They cheated, okay? But I'm not going to lie to you. I like this trash talking from Carlos Correa. Every sport needs a villain player, villain team. And although the Yankees are that evil empire,
right.
I kind of want to see the Astros go a little further. Like I like it. I think it's good. And what makes these division series even juicier is that they are division series. It's the A's against the Astros. It's the Rays against the Yankees. It's the Marlins against the fucking Braves. It's the Padres against the Dodgers.
I know. Isn't that crazy how it works?
There's a lot of juice here, bro.
Yeah. Like, we can go ahead and just do away with the Central.
Yeah, that's right. The big bad Central.
Just get rid of all the Central teams. Huh?
The big bad Central that had 3 teams.
6.
Right. Yeah, right. Right, I meant 3 from the American,
right.
3 from – but, yeah, 6 total teams. None of them are left.
Bye. How funny is that? That's amazing.
That's insane.
It is. Look, I agree with you. I think having a villain is good, especially in baseball where it's kind of harmless villain, right? Like, no one's gonna. It's not like football where you can like hit someone at the knees and ruin their career. It's fucking baseball. No one's gonna.
Yeah.
All they're gonna do is stare at each other, and they'll come out of the dugouts and yell a little bit closer. That's about it, right?
Right.
So I agree with you. However, he's got to work on his villain game, right? Like maybe add an evil laugh or something. But to thump your chest because you beat the Twins, a team who hasn't won a series, hasn't won a game since 2004, he needs to find a different way to thump his chest. We're here and we're ready to take on anybody. We don't care about the past. All we care about is this season, and we don't care who's in front of us. We're gonna charge ahead as far as something. But don't thump your chest because you just beat the Twins.
Yeah, well, I number one, I think he's admitting that they cheated, and now. In the way, like all the shit that he's saying, I think he's in a way admitting that they cheated. Okay? But
how?
Well, because I think at this point he doesn't care. Like everybody knows, right? Everybody knows.
Yeah, everybody knows, but he's not admitting it.
Well, he's not gonna say, "Hey," but I think through a few words, he's admitting
It's not like he's saying we ain't cheating this year and we're here again. What do you think about that?
it.
Right? Like, that would be kind of a tacit admission. I don't think he's admitting it. He's just, I think what he's doing is he's addressing all of the hate that the Astros have gotten and how no one
well,
wants to be there.
and he's also saying we're not cheating now. There's no way for us to cheat,
But
and
he,
we're here.
but he didn't say that.
Well, sometimes you don't have to say something to mean something. You know what I mean?
You're reading
I
into
like it,
way
man.
too much.
I like it. What are the chances that we get bench clearing brawls in all 4 division series?
We won't get it from the Braves and the Marlins. That Marlins teams, that Marlins team has only been in the major leagues this year. They haven't developed any bad blood yet. I'll tell you what. Now, the A's had not won a series in a long time. I don't remember how long, but it had been a while since they had won a series. They got over that hump against the White Sox, especially considering a series where they lost the first game, came back and won the next two to to win that series and kill your predictions. But now they face an Astros team that is hitting much better, and that pitching that was so non-existent looked pretty darn good against the Twins. And it was from guys that, again, made their major league debut early on in this 60-game season. So they don't even really have a full season under their belt, yet they're performing in the big spots. And with the bats helping, the Astros all of a sudden look very formidable. Do you think they make it past the A's?
Yeah, I think they can, because I mean, when you look at their lineup, they still have guys that can hit and they can rake. I mean, when you got a lineup of Springer, Carrera, Bregman, Altuve, that's a pretty good lineup, man. I
It's a lot of
mean,
bat.
that's a lot of bat. There's no trash cans, but that's still they still that's a lot of bats, man.
They're never
And
living down the
all it
trash
takes,
can thing.
look, all it takes is, in any sport, right, for a little bit of confidence, like the Heat, right? Now the Heat have some confidence. They know they can beat the Lakers. The Astros seem to be finding their groove a little bit.
They're
And they're
pitching
and
nice.
they're yeah, and I think they're in that we don't give a fuck mode,
Yeah.
you know? And playing against the A's, knowing that there's a rivalry there, and I think it fuels the players a little bit. Um, so I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's gonna. I think it's gonna be a really good series to watch. I think the A's will pull it off.
Yeah.
Um, I'm still not sold on the pitching of the Astros. Certainly, you make a good point. Confidence is a big deal, and obviously they have some confidence now that they've made it through a series and they've pitched really well. But I still feel like the A's are going to be too much. On the other side, you got the Rays and the Yankees, and I think this is pretty clear to me. Can that Rays pitching stop that Yankees offense? Because with Stanton back in the lineup, the Yankees look like they're going to put up 10 runs every day. I mean, it looks daunting to face that lineup now. Judge looked good in there. They had a good lineup even without those two guys. Now you bring those two guys back, man, it's looking tough to make it through that lineup 4 times a game.
Yeah, no, that lineup is, it can also rake. But I mean, the Rays have really prided themselves in pitching and bullpenning, and they've, they fucking won a division, and it's still a good team. That's another team that's kind of, flown under the radar, kind of, right? They don't get a
Yeah,
lot of publicity. They don't get a lot of primetime games,
no one
and
goes to watch them
no one goes to watch them. Pre-COVID,
even before the pandemic.
that's right. So, and there's also, those two teams hate each other. Did you know that all 4 of those teams they got placed in the same hotel?
Oh,
Yeah,
oh my God.
I know. I
That feels
almost
like, you know what? But that's good because now you won't have one team fucking with another team by sending strippers over and
pulling fire alarms.
pulling fire alarms. Yeah. So now, the strippers come, they come for everybody.
That's right. That's right.
I think the Yankees offense is just about unstoppable. And I don't man, we're going to talk about it in the National League with the Dodgers and the Padres, but man, that Yankees offense looks like a train coming downhill, man. I don't think, and with no brakes, I don't think the Rays are
Yeah.
going to be able to stop them.
Well, as we get deeper into the postseason, pitching proves to be what wins you games deep into October. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, now hold on. They didn't put all four teams in the same hotel because there's two locations, L.A. and San Diego.
Well, right.
They
What
put
I'm saying is the Astros and the A's are in one hotel, and Yankees-Rays
in another hotel, but they're
right.
both teams are in one. Yeah.
Right.
That's good. And you know what? I think that's the way they've set up the playoffs. I think, we criticized MLB a lot during the season for the way they handled it and the way they set it up, where they didn't have a bubble. But this is now that it's the playoffs, they put them in a bubble. I think it's great. It's
Yeah. I think it was the right thing to do,
Yeah. On the National League side, here's another thing, right? Here's another one where the Dodgers obviously are more than just pitching. Obviously, they've got good sticks as well. But the Padres are just flat out mashing again. Is the LA pitching going to be able to slow down that hitting of the Padres enough to win that series? What do you think?
Look, I'm at a point where I have no idea because out of the 8 series from the first round, from the wild card round, I got 3 right. So whatever I give you, you fucking fade.
That's not a good ratio there, my friend.
Huh?
That's not a good ratio.
No, not at all. I mean, look, kind of like the Yankees, the Dodgers are the pick, I guess, if you want to say, right? But
yeah,
man, I don't know, man. Yeah, I'm not, the home field advantage is out the fucking window,
right?
So that doesn't matter. And again, you got a team like the Padres that are not expected to be here, right?
This is a really great.
They could all of a sudden find some pitching too, right? Clevenger's supposed to be back for this series, so
is he?
That's going to help.
I wasn't sure if he was coming back yet. Look, for the Dodgers, it's all gravy for the Padres, it's all gravy from here, right? I think the season that they had, albeit a short season, but still a young team, and then winning a series in the playoffs, this is great. They're playing with house money now. Anything they do now is extra. And so good for them. It's going to be a fantastic series, I think. We could get a lot of 11-10 ball games or whatever because these two teams can both hit.
Yeah.
I think the pitching on the Dodgers side is better than on the Padres side, but the Padres really have shown they don't care. I mean, they've been hitting everything. One grand slam at a time. I think it's going to be a great series, but I'm going to go with the Dodgers here. I just think there's too much firepower, too many weapons. I mean, Jesus, you look at that lineup, it's tough. And if Kershaw pitches like that, they got a 1-2 that is damn near unstoppable. I mean, that was vintage Kershaw. That was vintage regular season Kershaw, right? Not the playoff Kershaw that gets smacked around last few years. I mean, he was dealing the other night against the Brewers. He looked great. The series no one's talking about, the Braves and the Marlins. I mean, I'm willing to bet that if you ask a casual baseball fan to name the 4 series, they could name 3 of them, and then they get to that 4th one and they'd go, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, nobody's talking about it because, it's the Marlins in there, right?
Well, and the Braves aren't exactly a sexy team either.
No, but I think I think they should be in the conversation with the Dodgers and the Yankees as far as, you know, putting up runs and being able to hit. I mean, they've hit well all season, and I question their pitching, but they pitched pretty well versus the Reds.
Wow, that was incredible, man. They just absolutely shut them down. And what was it, 22 innings of shutout baseball?
Yeah,
I mean,
something like that.
there's something crazy like that. 2.5 games worth. Yeah, if they pitch like that, they're going to be tough for anybody. Yeah, I think the Braves are going to be too much for the Marlins. The Marlins, I think, are kind of like the Padres, maybe a little bit, obviously a little bit less. I think they're a year or two away from really making some noise. You know, the shortened season, I think, helped them out. But they got the big COVID break early on. And, you know, I feel like they're just a little too young to make this step forward against a team that, you know, the Braves, this Braves team is not old, but a lot of guys who have already got some good experience. So it's going to be tough road to hoe.
Well, remember the 03, 04 Marlins were young too.
True.
And you know, they kind of found a way to get it done. I'm not saying they're going to win the World Series or win this series, but you know, when you've seen a team so many times over the years, you know, I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
You know, you play the game a little different. You manage the game a little different. So, you know, we'll see what happens. I honestly don't know. All these are toss-ups to me. I don't see one as a clear cut.
I think they're all going to be good series. Sure, one team could go on a run here, right? The Braves could go on a run and sweep the Marlins, but not likely. You know, all of them seem like pretty close series. You may lean one way or the other, but I don't think anyone's going to get their doors blown off, you know, kind of like the Twins did.
Yeah.
Again.
Well, at least your World Series prediction is still alive.
Yeah. What was my World Series prediction?
Yankees-Braves.
Oh. And I think it's going to happen. How incredible would it be if the Astros and Yankees won and they faced off in the ALCS? And then
that'd be fucking great.
How incredible would it be if the Astros had to face the Dodgers in the World Series?
That would be even greater. Yeah. Get your popcorn ready. That's all I got to say.
That's right. Joe Kelly would be able to mock college career again.
I mean, I think we're gonna see some bench clearing, not brawls, not punches thrown, but I think we're gonna see some. We're gonna see some heat, man. I really think so.
Remember earlier this year, the A's and the Astros got into it a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
The Astros also got into it with the Dodgers, so it could happen. And the Dodgers,
well, and the Braves and the Yankees, you know, with Chapman throwing at the Rays batters, and then the Rays throwing at the Yankees. I mean, there's a lot there, man. It's a soap opera.
There's another team out there that, you know, in baseball circles, I think the Rays are pretty much universally disliked. They've been in some spats with the Yankees, with the Red Sox. I mean, they've gotten into some fisticuffs with several teams. I think generally people don't like them. You know, and now they face the Yankees. It could get real interesting real fast. And the good thing is it all takes place this week. By Saturday, it'll all be done. And, you know, it'll be the AL Championship Series starts on Sunday, right? The NL Championship Series starts next Monday. So they're playing 5 days straight, and then, or they're scheduled for 5 days straight.
Right.
And then one off day and right into the next series. So, you know, you won't get too much time to sit and rest.
Yeah.
It's going to be important to get through the series quickly, right? If you can get through the series quickly, you can set up your rotation for the next one. If not, you know, if you have to go 5 and you have to go into your bullpen a lot, it could be a problem. All right, let's see. How about the NFL? Dude, how much how much does a team like the Bills or the Patriots or the Steelers, how much do teams like that wish they were in the NFC East?
Holy shit.
1, 2, and 1, first place.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
the
crazy.
last place Giants have a chance.
Yeah, the Giants are literally only a game and a half out after 4 games. And they're 4. If they go on a 3, like if they win their next 3 and they're 3 and 4, they're going to be sitting pretty in first place.
Yeah.
Because you know those other fools aren't going to do anything. How pathetic. Yeah. A team like Washington, which has looked terrible, even in the game they won, they looked terrible. They're half a game out. Somebody's going to have to win this division. And right now, they seem to be playing hot potato with it. It's terrible.
So much for thinking that was or is or was the best division. It's, I mean, it's a horrible division.
Well, you know, it's funny. When we broke it down, we both thought it was going to be a 2-horse race. And it was going to be, we thought it was going to be really interesting to see the Cowboys and the Eagles go at it and you know, try to win this division. Instead, it's the Cowboys and the Eagles. I still think those are the 2 best teams in the division, but neither one of them looks like a team that deserves it. Like the NFC East at this point should forfeit their division playoff spot to another division. Just give it to anyone else. Give it to the NFC North. Just give it away because you don't deserve it.
Well, I still like the Cowboys in that division. I think they can put up points. Plain and simple, they can put up points. They give up more than they put up, but they can put up. Yeah, but they can put up points. So, I mean, I'll stick with the Cowboys.
From everything I've seen, they still look like the best team to me. I agree with you. Philadelphia's starting to looked a little bit better last night, but even then, they couldn't run the ball. I mean, they just – and Carson Wentz is – look, people are criticizing Carson Wentz and saying he sucks and this, that, and the other thing. The dude does not have time. That offensive line is just – I mean, San Francisco, without Bosa last night, ran right through that offensive line. It's not pretty. It's not pretty. Yeah, look, the NFC West has Seattle, the Rams, and the Cardinals 4-0, 3-1, 2-2, and then the Niners at 2-2. Give them an extra playoff spot.
Right? Fuck that. You got to win your division.
The NFC East does not deserve a playoff spot. You can't argue that.
Yeah, that's pretty fucking bad. They all have a negative point differential.
Well, yeah.
While the NFC West has all positive point differential.
Yeah, it's not pretty at all. Hey, the Bills. This, you know, week 3, 4, somewhere around there usually happens. This was the week where all of a sudden you get all of the upsets, and they're not really upsets. They're just like all of a sudden you're like, oh, you know, shit happens, right? Like all of a sudden you get a team like the Bills looking good at 3-0, and they go out to Las Vegas, and it's a trap game, really. They should win that game, but, you know, shit kind of happens. You know, they get a little fat-headed, I think, sometimes, and then they end up losing. Well, the Bills went out there, played a tough football game with the Raiders, and came out on top. The Bills are really looking – they're looking for real. No one's going to put them in the same conversation with the Chiefs and the Ravens.
Right.
But maybe we should.
Well, I mean, you know, I think – I mean, they got a good offense, man. I think Diggs just opened it up for Josh Allen.
Yeah.
I mean, and Diggs is not his only target. He's got John Brown, but I think it just gives, you know, it just opens things up for the offense a little more. And I mean, Josh Allen is playing very good. And I mean, like he's been in the conversation for the first 4 weeks.
Absolutely.
You know, like when people talk about Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, he's not that far away, you know. So,
yeah. Well, no, he's played really well, and
all of a sudden that game tonight between the Patriots and the Chiefs, it's almost like a must-win for the Patriots.
It looks huge now, right? Because if the Patriots fall to 2-2, that's a 2-game spread. Now, granted, they haven't played head-to-head, so they could easily make that up just in those 2 games. But it
Right.
does put a little pressure on the Pats. And look, the Pats aren't winning tonight. I mean, let's just face it. They're playing Kansas City, who's probably the best team in the league, and no Cam Newton. So for all the
And
good that Cam Newton's been doing and how good he's looked in that offense, now you don't have him. That's a problem.
and they may be suffering from jet lag because they traveled today
Yeah,
to Kansas City.
yeah. Well, you're not going to get jet lag. It's not that long of a flight to have jet
No, but
lag.
it's still
Yeah, no,
you know,
I get what you're saying. It's not ideal to travel on game day,
right.
and the game's not late. It's a 6 o'clock Central Time game, so they had to get a really early flight. It makes for a long day, and it's hard to prepare to play football when you've had to fly all day.
As a fan, I don't fucking care. We got 2 baseball postseason games, 2 Monday nighters. I'm all for it.
Oh yeah, it's a good day. It's a good day. This work stuff can go fly a kite.
Right?
What other game caught your attention this week?
Well, we talked about them a little earlier. Their opponent, the Cowboys and the Browns. I think the Browns played very well. I don't know if that's due to the lack of defense of the Cowboys, but I mean the fucking Browns are 3-1. I mean they're playing pretty good football. They're not turning the ball over, and we got to see a little bit of what happens when Baker Mayfield, Landry, and Odell are on the same page. I mean Odell broke out 3 touchdowns. Their running game, I think they're committing to the run first, pass second type of scheme. So I'm a bit surprised that they're 3-1 right now.
Yeah, they did look very good. They are 3-1. Those are all great. However, here's the one thing to worry about. Chubb is out for the next 6 weeks with an MCL sprain. And an MCL sprain can very easily become an MCL tear. So if they bring him back early for whatever reason, or, just they think he's ready and they bring him back and maybe he's not quite ready, it could be a real problem that they lose that running feature to their offense. 2,
Kareem Hunt.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, that they do have a good serviceable backup, right? You're really right about that. But it's not the same thing. Chubb has been the real deal for a couple of years. Kareem Hunt was good, but then he had all of his problems. I don't know. I'm not sold yet. The other thing you have to remember is they're certainly their last win, right? Put up a lot of points against a defense that is just in shambles with the Cowboys, and they were coming off of an extended rest, right? They had 10 days because they played on Thursday night the week before. So, you got to kind of temper your enthusiasm a little bit. I think next week could be a trap game, right? That's what we talk about. Sometimes you see teams build a little momentum, and then all of a sudden they get caught because they get a little fat-headed or a key injury or whatever, and that you may see that with the Browns. But yeah, so far they're looking good.
They play the Colts next week. The Colts all of a sudden found the defense, and Phillip Rivers is playing decent football. So
yeah, should be fun. They beat the Colts beat previously unbeaten Bears team. I hate to say this because we were just talking about Nick Foles last week, but he looked like a backup yesterday.
Yeah.
Right? Like when people like us, right, last week ask, why doesn't Nick Foles ever get the keys to the mansion?
Right.
The Nick Foles haters say, look at this. And
that's why.
Exactly that game. I mean, it was a poor performance on his part. I mean, just missing open receivers, bad throws, turnovers, the whole thing. And it made you realize, well, maybe he is just lightning in a bottle at certain times, but he's not a 16 game a season quarterback.
No. And it definitely showed yesterday, like you said. Yeah. Who plays? Oh, it's Green Bay and Atlanta tonight, right? Green Bay and Atlanta.
Well, at least Dan Quinn won't get fired after losing this one. He's expected to lose. Unless they get up 16 and then blow it.
Which is very possible.
Hey, another guy, Dan Quinn's on the hot seat for sure. Another guy that's got to be on the hot seat, which we talked about this forever last season, Bill O'Brien. The Texans at 0-4, losing to a Minnesota team that was struggling to find its way. Minnesota's offense looked pretty darn good yesterday throughout most of that game. And, that Vikings offense has been not very good this year so far. Kirk Cousins hasn't been very good. And they put up 31 against the Texans. Is there any hope for the Texans at this point?
That COVID hits and just shuts down the season and they stop football. They can't stop the run.
No.
They can't stop the run. I mean, Cook just ran all over them. So they have issues up front. Wide is not the same, and it's just
the years of injuries have kind of taken their toll on J.J. Watt, and that line is not really doing the job anymore. Tennessee is 3-0 in that division, and the Texans are 0-4. So they're 3.5 games out right now. It's not looking pretty for them going forward. Uh-oh. I think we lost Alex. Come back, Alex. Don't leave just yet. We won't say anything bad about the Giants, I promise. All righty. Well, the Buccaneers won yesterday. Oh, Alex is gone. So now you get this solo version of the podcast. Like I was saying, the Buccaneers won yesterday. Tom Brady looks like he's enjoying the offense. He's enjoying all the weapons, put up 38 points against the Chargers, who have a decent defense. And look, it's going to be a tough road in that NFC South with the Saints. But, those two teams are looking pretty darn good at this point. The Seahawks, look, they only won 31-23 against the Dolphins, but make no mistake, that was a trap game all the way through. That was a trap game for sure. It's a West Coast team having to go all the way to the East Coast, and they had to play the early game at noon, or 1 o'clock in the Eastern time zone. So that was a trap game for them. They still came through and won. The Seahawks look really legit at 4-0. The Rams won as well over the Giants. I know I said, Alex, I wasn't going to talk about the Giants, but you're not here, so now I can say whatever I want. And so the Rams are now 3-1. That division is really shaping up nicely. It looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to see how the NFC West shakes out. The Seahawks look like the class of the division, but the Rams also look pretty solid. They've got a pretty friendly schedule. While you were gone, Alex, I said I wasn't going to – I didn't want you to leave, so I said I wasn't going to talk bad about the Giants. So let's just focus on the Rams. The Rams at 3-1. Are they for real? Are they the best 3-1 team we've ever seen, or the worst 3-1 team we've ever seen?
I mean, they can only put up 17 points against the Giants. I mean, I don't know. Do we trust Jared Goff? I mean, I don't know.
That's the question I have. My question with them is very much their offense, right? That's what I wonder about. And it'll be a telling sign whenever we see them play the Seahawks because, the Seahawks are going bonkers. I mentioned while you were gone, that Seahawks game was a trap game, right? West Coast team having to go play the early game on the East Coast, and they still won. At 4-0, they look like the real deal.
Yeah, no, I mean, Seattle's, they got a lot of weapons, man. Russell Wilson has a lot of weapons. So, they are certainly not that's not a fluke 4-0 team. So,
yeah,
see once they start playing within the division, when they have to match up against all of them, really, Arizona, San Fran, the Rams. We'll see if they got to be able to win those games.
That's when it'll get really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, right now I think Russell Wilson's having an MVP season. I mean, he is just playing lights out.
Yeah.
We had the Broncos and the Jets. We had the Jaguars and the Bengals. Joe Burrow got his first win. That's nice. The Jets are never going to win a football game. I mean, really not much to talk about with those four teams. It wasn't very good football, but you gotta put 32 teams out on the field every week, and
Yeah.
those four
I'll
have
tell
to
you
play
what,
somebody.
I'm impressed with Justin Herbert. I think,
Yeah,
I mean, he's really shown. I guess it looks like he's learned the playbook and kind of adapted well to the speed of the game. And they had the lead for a little bit there against the Buccaneers
that's got
in the
to be
first
very
half.
that's got to be very encouraging for Chargers fans, right? You draft
Yeah,
a kid number one, and you're gonna groom him, but all of a sudden you got to throw him in the fire in week 2 against the defending Super Bowl champions, and the kid does well and continues to progress. That's got to be a good feeling if you're a Chargers fan.
yeah, absolutely. And I mean, I guess they have a quarterback controversy
No, they
because
don't.
when
No, they
you
don't.
don't think they do,
No. If
they don't because they're the Chargers. If they were the Giants, the Cowboys, the Patriots, there would be controversy.
no. Here's what they have. They either have no quarterback controversy or they have a head coach on the hot seat, because if he brings back Tyrod Taylor, they need to fire that guy.
Well, I mean, Tyrod Taylor was their guy. That was their number one. He was the number one on the depth chart. So
Yeah. But now you've got your rookie quarterback, who, by the way, you drafted to be your franchise quarterback. They didn't pick this guy up in the 6th round hoping he'd be a serviceable backup, right? They drafted him high in the 1st round in the hopes that he would be, right, the quarterback of the future. Well, the future is now. He's good. Run with him. If they bring back Tyrod Taylor, they need to fire the head coach.
I agree with you. Herbert should get the shot, but it's not like Tyrod lost his job. You know what I mean? So that's why I say that they may have a situation there where they may want to go back to Tyrod Taylor.
If there's any kind of situation, they need to fire the head coach.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, just fire him. Just fire him immediately. The minute he announces Tyrod Taylor is the number one quarterback, fire him. You're fired.
The Chargers play. They play the Saints next week.
No, that should be good. The Saints beat the Lions. The Lions are 1-3. I think the Mike Patricia thing is pretty much over. We can go ahead. He's going to be gone. There's
no talent there either.
Unless he's got some mojo like Dan Quinn or Bill O'Brien, he's gone.
Yeah, I mean, there's no talent there either. I mean, that team.
Yeah.
They've never really built a good enough team, and coaching obviously has sucked in the past for them. They just, I don't know.
Yeah.
All
righty. What else you got from week 4 of the NFL?
That's about it. I mean, that's it.
Sounds good. You ready to wrap this one up?
Let's wrap it up, man. Let's wrap it up, man.
As always, thank you for watching or listening to the Positive Sports Podcast. If you want to get a hold of us on the show, you can email the show, positivesports10@gmail.com, positivesports10@gmail.com. If you want to get a hold of Alex, how do they do that?
On Twitter at Brooklyn Gaucho 1.
Excellent. And if you want to get a hold of me, you can do so on Twitter as well, at eMontana21. You got anything else, Alex, before we sign off today?
No
more drinking for you.
I may still be feeling it.
Yeah, that might be. It might be a 2-day hangover.
Whoa.
The movie was several days, right? the movie The Hangover, that went on over several days. So it could happen.
True. It could.
I'm just
I
glad
don't know.
I'm just glad you didn't wake up with a tattoo on your face.
That would have been
Unfortunate.
very interesting.
Oh, if you'd have gotten the Mike Tyson tattoo, that would have been hilarious.
Are you gonna watch Mike Tyson against Roy Jones?
I'm sorry?
Are you gonna watch Mike Tyson and Roy Jones fight?
Fuck yeah. I'll watch that shit show. I don't care. I love it.
Yeah.
If they say it's going to be an exhibition, then maybe not. But if they're really going to throw down, I'm really going to watch. I don't give a shit how old they are.
Yeah, I feel bad for Roy Jones.
Yeah, Mike looks I listened to a podcast with Mike Tyson, and he sounds like he's getting back into it. Like,
Yeah.
he sounds like the old Mike Tyson.
Must be all that weed he's smoking.
Yeah, or maybe he stopped smoking weed. He ain't so mellow anymore. Now he's going back to being a straight-up killer.
Actually, I think he is, man. I watched what is it? The Hot Box, it's called, his podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, for a guy that what he's been through, I mean, for him to change his fucking life around,
It's an
I
amazing story.
find it amazing.
Yeah, it's an amazing story. What he's
really
been
is.
through and what he's done with himself and where he's been and, you know, how he's been kind of mistreated and whatnot. To see where he's at now, man, it's an incredible story. It's just amazing how perseverance, man. What perseverance. All right, man. Well, that's it.
All right, bro.
As always, folks, ignore the negativity. Be the positivity.
Peace.